elements forming water. So, everybody with me so far? This heat will dissolve. Fire on its own cannot create water. But there's already space and air. They already exist, correct? So the heat of this fire is going to dissolve and liquefy some ethereal particles, and water is going to be created. So this is like talking to people about Sankhya philosophy, okay? So let's all work together because, so this water will solidify eventually to form molecules of what? Of earth. So all five originated from what?
From Akash?
From cosmic consciousness.
No, this is a little bit further down from.
Yeah,
okay.
That's why I started here.
Okay.
So remember we stopped down here?
Yeah.
This is the continuation. Okay. So from the Tanmatras, that's how you get the elements. That's the relationship. So they originated from cosmic consciousness, and they are all present in all matter in the universe. And guess what? That's why energy and matter are one.
Okay.
So I'll give you an example. I got like water per se. Water, the solid state of water, the earth element is manifesting there. What is the solid state of water? Like a piece of ice, right? So even though it's water, you see the solidity, like the earth element manifesting there. So then that ice, the latent, like heat inside the ice is gonna make it melt. So you have the fire element within water. You understand? You have the piece of ice. Inside there's a latent heat that it's there. That's where the ice melts. So that is the fire element within water. Clear? Now this water is just not going to stay there.
Yes.
It's going to evaporate. And which element do you see?
Air.
Air. And this air is going to do what?
Move around.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So that is an example, like to illustrate to you how all these elements are, you cannot separate them. Even though you say, okay, this is air. So I actually had a project for you, like to go outside and bring me something that it represents an element. And I'm like, after listening to this, they're going to bring the same thing, because in all of them, you have all the elements. But there's one that is more, like, let's say you get a piece of stone. a little stone is more earth. You're gonna have one quality being prominent, exactly. So that's why Ayurveda establishes that everything around us and in us is made of these elements, but the ratio is different. How does space manifest in our body?
Our movement.
Alveoli, space between the cells, nostrils, any kind of orifice will have a cavity, right?
Okay.
So that's the space element. How air will manifest in our body.
The oxygen.
The movement, how the thoughts come and go, circulation, orgasm, childbirth, defecation, urination. If there's movement. So fire, not only the fire that cooks what we eat, but like I said, the fire in your heart, the fire, anything that metabolizes is because of fire. You have water, not only plasma and blood, but we're made up pretty much of water. Earth, anything that's solid, our bones, cartilage, muscles, hair, nails, anything that you see that it can be touched. Exactly. So now, this is all around us and this is all in us, but the ratio is different. Exactly like the eyes, you can have fire, earth, and water, with water predominant. We all have all of this with one or two predominant. The same as the stone has more earth than water, the same way you can have more earth than water. You understand the relationship? Mm-hmm. So now the ratio is different. That's why you can be Vata and I can be Vata, but you look and think and do totally different than me, even though we're both Vata.
Okay.
So the ratio is different, and that difference is what makes the doshas. The doshas is just the physiology, what makes our physiology function. So we call the combination of space and air Vata, the combination of fire and water Pitta, and the combination of water and earth Kapha. And then later on, when we meet next class, we're gonna go into the doshas. This is just to give you like a little overview on how this is manifested before we go into the three dosha theory. So I'm telling you because now we have to go into the gunas. So that is gonna be the rest of the day and probably more on our next meeting. And then I'll introduce you to the three doshas, and the same way I started with the Tanmatras from Sankhya philosophy, the same way we're going to start from here to the doshas. Okay? Mm-hmm. So can anybody explain with your own words? You don't have to say the same thing, whatever it is that you prefer, the creation of the elements, the order in what they were created.
Okay,
Marisa.
Okay, so first there was space, and space started moving. Like space moves around and created in that movement, it created air, and with air moving more, that added friction. So from that friction, there started fire. And fire had in it now air and space.
There's a little more to the friction to the fire because this heat has to be dissolve some ethereal. I mean, the light has to be part of this fire, right? Like the heat and the light. Otherwise, there is no fire.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So go on. Very good.
Okay. So the fire has in it air and space, and that combination with the particles moving around creates water. And then the water, which has within it fire, air, and space, starts to solidify.
Very good.
And that becoming solid is earth. And earth has within it water, fire, air, and space.
Very good. Any questions? Is that more or less understandable? Yes? Paula? Do you guys make note of this?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so you have there, let me go to your PowerPoint. So the Pancha Mahabhutas we went through, we're not done yet, by the way, with the Pancha Mahabhutas. Now I'm going to give you some, the same way you have Akasha ether, light, clear, subtle, immeasurable, you should know a little more of these elements. Because from that, the gunas are, that's where the gunas come from. The gunas are just qualities. Gunas means qualities. And those are qualities that everything in and around us have. I mean, those are like universal qualities. And those are like basically the qualities of the elements. You see what I mean? Like light, subtle, sharp, penetrating, smooth, cloudy. Okay? So let's start with ether. Time passes by quickly when you're having fun. Akasha, right? What's the Tanmatra for Akasha? Don't look at your paper. Sound. Very good. Okay. Now, it is, I'm just going to put the word again, space, vast, openness. Cavity with freedom to move. The qualities of space is clear, it's light, it's subtle, and immeasurable. Substance. That would be anything light, profuse, and ethereal. Give me an example of space in food. Think of these qualities: clear, light, subtle, immeasurable. Anything
Lettuce.
light. Huh?
Lettuce.
Lettuce.
How about
Popcorn.
would it be? It would have to be like a solid. How about soup?
Soup. I would categorize it more under the water element because there's more liquidity to soup than space. But that was a good thought. I mean, you're on the right track. Crackers, chips. Think of anything crunchy. If something is crunchy, it has space inside, right? Think of a vegetable that has space inside.
Celery.
Yes, very good. Another one?
Broccoli.
Broccoli. Very good. It's just to start giving you a better understanding of these elements, okay? How they manifest. Now, the intake of space increases softness, lightness in the body. Now, to help you think even more, if someone has a lot of space in them, let's say they have pain, let's say they don't go to the bathroom because they're constipated, they're so dry, right? And you're adding lightness to the body, adding this celery and broccoli and crackers and popcorn, this will create more what? More space within them. And what space? The space is dry, right? Space is dry. So you start just seeing how this kind of starts taking shape and how we could see it in the physical body so we can relate to it better. Now, the action, expansion, vibration, and provides room and openness. Are you guys writing of this, right?
Yeah.
Because this is very important that you know when you study herbology. When you start studying the herbs, if the herb gives you expansion inside the body, what qualities does it have?
Has caution.
You know, it has to have light, subtle, dry, immeasurable quality. You know, like so. So you start kind of like. So this is very important that you study it like this. Okay. Action, and then it facilitates sound and non-resistance. Since this is the foundation for everything in Ayurveda, then you're going to see when you study everything else. You know, the herbology, nutrition, etc. Okay? Number 2. What comes next?
Value.
Value. And besides, when the doctor comes to teach you, I want her to see our students knowing these words in Sanskrit. So you don't say air to the teacher, you say value. I'm kidding.
Getting serious.
That's my big. That's my big. Oh, they're so well trained. Okay, so air. So what is the Tam mantra for air? Don't look at your papers.
Touch.
Yes.
Sparsa? No.
Sparsha.
Sparsa. As well.
Okay. Air shows a sense of movement. You think? Initiates and directs movement. Qualities is mobile, dry, light. So I don't want you to be confused, like air has more dry qualities than space. So if you have to pick dry for one of the two, which one would you choose?
Air.
Yes. Cold and subtle. If you would choose subtle between Akasha and Vayu, which one would you pick?
Akasha.
Yes. Substance, anything dry and airy. Give me an example.
Dry and airy substance.
What happened?
I'm trying to think. Dry and airy.
So much? Dry fruits. What else?
I think we're gonna do.
Oh, like cereals and stuff.
Yes, very good. Dry cereals. Now you're thinking. What else?
Bread.
Huh?
Bread.
Bread, yes.
Right?
Toasted bread, especially. Who said bread? Yeah, very good. Bread, I'm glad you said that. You can make it vada pitor coffee. You can make it dry if you toast it for a while and it's like very crunchy. You can do it like medium with ghee. It's like kind of like a pita toast, or you can just leave it with no toasted, like the white bread. That's more like kapha provoking. Okay? So even bread, you can get a substance like a vegetable, like celery, which has a lot of space. It could be very vata aggravating, but no when you cook it. Celery, one of those that you can eat it cooked, even if the person has a vata initiation. Okay? So, to keep in mind. Action, so the intake will increase coolness, dryness, movement, and circulation. Action, movement, evaporation, and dryness. Between parentheses, lack of love. No, I'm kidding. Don't write this down. Yeah, that's dry. I would like to have another boy now. It's so nice. Such a good size. Okay, so we go on to the next one. Oh, and facilitates touch and vibration. Let me know when you're ready so I can erase. Ready?
Wait,
Huh? Oh. I'll make the next one prettier for
Yeah,
a
it's
picture.
okay.
I'll be more careful. I like look nice. So what's the next element?
Agni. Veda.
There's friction and a spark, and then there's acne.
Yes. Tamadra?
Sight. Or vision.
Okay. So for fire, it will be hot, sharp, light, dry, and subtle. There is actually a quality, you're going to learn it later, of fire, that it could be wet at the beginning, but when fire starts going on for a long time, it dries everything around it. So that is one of those that can have those two gunas. But you will get into it later, okay? Substance,
Quality.
anything? Oh, those are qualities, I'm sorry, yes. And spicy. Give me an example.
So you said substance, right?
Yes.
Pepper. Combustible and spicy.
Combustible and spicy.
Favorite stuff.
Peppers.
Wasabi.
Yes.
Is the
Ginger.
Ginger.
Garlic.
Garlic.
Would turmeric be under there too?
It has heat, but it's not as hot. I wouldn't just put it for, to illustrate that, Cinnamon. Now, intake increases digestion and metabolism. That's why when there's no acne, like the acne is like really low and the person doesn't feel hungry, like 20 minutes or so before dinner or lunch, you should have a little piece of ginger. Like grated ginger, like you can make a little paste and eat that. It would stimulate your acne, your digestive fire. Increases digestion, metabolism, glow, and color of skin. Action, radiation of heat and light. And facilitates form, color, and temperature. Next one,
Jala.
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 Tamatra,
Taste.
it is cool.
Is there qualities?
Yes, it is liquid. It could be oily. Soft and slimy also. Substance, anything liquid, fluid or watery. The intake increases smoothness, coolness, and softness. Give me an example.
Tea.
Tea,
Water.
water, juices, soups, right? Action, cohesiveness. You're gonna see that when you study biology. Adhesiveness. And also lubrication. And facilitates fluid and taste. The fourth element. I'm sorry, the fifth. Prithvi. Earth. What's the Tamadra?
Smell.
It's responsible for giving a structure, shape and strength of the body, to the body. It is heavy, it is dull, it is dense, hard, and gross. Anything solid and heavy. Give me an example, please. Meat, cheese. What else?
Salt and hard and gross, that's the substance, right?
That's the qualities.
Those are qualities, yeah.
The
Substance is anything solid or heavy.
The intake increases heaviness, also stability, depending on what we're talking about. Obesity, solidity, in the body. That's it for heavy.
Meat, cheese, bread.
Yes. Action, resistance, and density. And facilitates order and shape. Any questions about that? So I can give you another little table that I made for you that compare the elements also, like talks, I mentioned the chakras. So when you study later on, you have already an idea
Is
how the
that
elements
odor?
relate to the chakras. Huh?
Facilitates odor and shape.
Yes. Can we continue? Good night. I'm sorry, I feel I'm wasting your time now. Every moment that
The transition is good.
will be precious. Okay, so element, you can make this is very good just for understanding role in existence. Sense or tamagra. Sense organ. The word in Sanskrit for these is Janendriya. And Karmendriya is the organ of action. Sense organ, action organ. And chakra.
The
When?
action organ.
Karma, like karma.
Oh yeah, action.
Yeah.
Driya.
Karmendriya.
So Driya is organ.
Yes. Karmendriya. You see, Dhatu Mana Kriya, the waste of the products of the water. Mana Kriya.
So Driya is organ.
Well, yeah, but in Sanskrit you learn that there are things that are spelled a little different. You know, like the CH, sometimes we don't write the H, sometimes we don't, you know, but when we go through the words, you'll see that better. So element, we start with what? Akasha.
Space.
Then, first, let's just do all Akasha first, okay? So the rolling existence is space, right? Tanmatra is hearing. Sense organ, ears. Action organ, vocal cords. Therefore, which chakra do you think? Remember yesterday we mentioned a little bit the chakras, the Ida and Pingala, where they cross that vortex of energy. We call them chakra. They're actually instruments where you can measure the vibration. So, which chakra? The throat. What is the name in Sanskrit? Vishuddha. Okay, so what's next? Right. Rolling existence,
Air.
movement. Remember, it's a rolling existence. Now you don't need to use, unless you're speaking with someone outside, then you say, oh, the element air. And you say value, okay? Movement. Sense, seeing, right? I'm sorry, touching. Sense organ, skin. An action organ, hands. Chakra, what do you think this will be? Think first.
Movement of action.
No. Well, for this you have to know like Vyana Vayu, which is the movement of the heart. Like where there's more movement and yeah. There's circulation, right, in this area. You're pumping, you're getting venous return and you're pushing blood out. You know, arteries and veins. So this is Vyana Vayu. It's one of the sub-doshas of Vata that you will study next month. So that expansion and that movement of circulation. So Anahata.
And would you be able to like relate it as well as the heart? That's where the exchange, well, not the exchange, but where oxygen and deoxygenated blood runs through?
Yes, of course. That
Because
is
of the element
movement.
air?
Exactly, because it's movement. And also related to the lungs, where that exchange takes place. But where are the lungs? Right on the back. It pretty much is the same location, just on the back. You know?
Anahata?
Anahata.
Anahata.
You can just put like heart chakra, but I'm just giving you. I'm trying to look for something. I'll look later. Then you have
Academy.
the rolling existence is energy. The Tamatra or the sense organ seeing. I'm sorry, the sense organ is eyes. And the action organ is feet, interestingly enough. The chakra, where do you have most
The root. Energy.
energy?
And the
Solar plexus, your hara, it's called in the East and the Zen and that culture, like the hara, H-A-R-A, like equal, it's not exactly prana, it's a lot more than hara.
You're confused with that.
Yeah.
Solar plexus is here, but the hara, the way I learned it is
2 fingers below the navel. What is the area of the energy? Like
So would that be like the navel chakra?
Swadhisthana, like the second, like, but the hara is the center where we have like more,
Right,
it's
the
very
energy.
potent,
Right.
yeah. But it's like this whole area, like Manipura, even those 2 fingers below the navel, and hara, it's 2 fingers below the navel. When you say your hara, it's like this center of energy. It's like hara is not the same as Swadhisthana, as the second chakra. It's a different thing.
Oh, okay. So in this case, we're talking about this area.
Manipura. It's like right 2 fingers below the navel.
Below or above?
I'm sorry, above the
Okay,
navel.
okay.
Yeah, that's Manipura chakra.
Okay.
That's the solar plexus, what you said before.
Okay.
So don't get confused. Let me just not go to hara. Maybe in another class we'll go to maybe Francis will go to hara. But it's actually a different concept, right? It's just you're speaking for those that know about the hara, like this is kind of like related to it. Swadhisthana, that comes next, will be more
Okay.
the hara. So Agni. Agni, you have what? After Agni, Jala.
Yeah.
Force, rolling existence, force of attraction. Tasting, tongue, the sense organ and the action organ, genital. Chakras, Swadhisthana. And briefly, the rolling existence is solidity. The sense is smelling. Nose is the sense organ, and the action organ is anus. The chakra is Muladhara.
So what about the other two chakras? additional elements?
No, it's just
Wow.
refer us to Ketu, and it's a different.
They're more subtle?
Yeah, it's a lot more subtle, so there's no. Because that's when you realize,
Will
You
and
don't even need
intuition.
that.
right, like your past, or that's when you realize who you are, and this is where you unite with who you are. So it's not, there's no. Actually, there is association, but you'll study that maybe in the psychology class, or I don't know if there's a class where you go like in depth with the chakras. I have to check. Definitely, I mean, when we're studying in the psychology class, they go
Yeah.
through it, no? Yes. If not, we'll make sure you do. Any questions? So just to give you a little more about the elements before we start on the gunas. You want to take a break? Let's take a break. 15 minutes. It's almost 11.
Yeah, 5 minutes.